The day of Sanguinalia is a day of happiness and prosperity. But some people do not understand happiness and prosperity. The bombings killed 100 and injured 100 more. The marshal had appointed 6 chasteners to each part of the hive and told them to act in these areas as they saw fit. To help, each of these areas had been sealed off by the remaining Arbites and the PDF troops, so no one could escape judgment. Our chastener, Rubail, sent 6 of his probators, with each having a detachment of 10 PDF troopers, the best they had. The detachment I'd been given was led by Sergeant Macer. He was a good man. His records were excellent as well, by the way. Our task was to go around and question the hivers, follow the trails, and bring those Emperor-forsaken bastards who had caused the bombings to justice. It was a big task, and rather foolish, if I may be so bold, but I could see this was for calming the people and scaring the perpetrators. I did not know how fast yet fatal this task would turn out to be for me. We'd gone around Arnold's precinct and the Escrivium Hablocks, my designated area, for 3 days and had found nothing. It was beginning to turn boring and futile. But then I saw that old man begging for alms. We were on our last round of questioning for the day when I saw him. We were close to the local bar, and the streets were pretty narrow, and the stink exorbitant. The man was sitting on the steps of a staircase that led above to a group of some habs above. He was mumbling and begging in intervals, and I was tempted to give him some credits until I saw that liquor bottle on his side. He had caused himself this state of oblivion, and I do not care for such people. Then I saw his eyes. The eyes were not human, no, sir, not at all. They were alien. His sclera was yellow, and his pupils were lined, not round. He was fundamentally alien. He needed to be put down. Of course, he detected my recognition and stopped his mumbling. He went for something in his pockets. I did not let him and shouted, "Get this abomination!" Sergeant Macer and his men looked behind and fired their lasguns as the man came forward towards me. I jumped out of the way just in time. The carafe of liquor had burst into 1,000 pieces, and a retractable knife fell out of his right hand as it unclenched in the abomination's death throes. The body was a bloody, beautiful mess. I took out my last pistol from its holder and looked around. The people who were just going about their business just a second before all looked at us. All stared. To them, it must have looked as if we had killed an innocent beggar, but we knew the truth. We had killed a dangerous Xenos. Then I noticed something strange. Though many were hooded, I could make out no fear in their movements or their faces. Everyone just looked almost apathetic. Then a sudden change came over them. They took off their hoods, and those who hadn't worn them had started brandishing weapons of every kind. Pitchforks, knives, and shovels. The hooded people were taking out crudely made guns, and a few took out even lasguns. This is going to get heated, I thought. And it did. They all came at us. It was almost synchronized. And we fired as one on them. We formed a tight circle and fired. 3 of Macer's men went over the steps which led to the bar and started firing, throwing grenades. It was tight, very tight, and the numbers of the enemies began to dwindle, as did ours. Trooper Story and Amatius had been hacked to pieces, and then Trooper Keon was hit, bleeding profusely. He took out 2 grenades and went into the crowd, going out in a blaze of glory, almost taking out like 10 or 11 of them. Most were dead now. The rest had escaped. We grouped back together, checked each other's wounds, and got our bearings. 3 PDF were dead, and 3 others were injured. They were being treated by medical trooper Broitsar, I think his name was. One of them was hit fatally, and we had to leave him behind. When we started making our advance, we heard a microphone.
"Good show. We have seen what you are capable of, and we will prepare. Believe that now. Consider this a parting gift. The many-handed God blesses us all.
Excuse the bad theater, but that was what his voice sounded like. I may have paraphrased a bit, but that's the gist of the message. The second he stopped talking, I heard a thudding and grinding of chains, and then I saw what can only be described as a monster. It was 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide. Thin hands and elbows bent downwards, sharp claws instead of hands, and no eyes. It just had 2 nostrils, and its mouth glistened with fine white teeth, almost transparent, like deep-sea fish. I had taken out my shotgun and already called for help by tapping the helmet-attached Vox bead 2 times, and then the beast attacked. We went out of our way, of course, as the beast lumbered towards us, and we shot at its sides, and then it lumbered again, with more speed and slashing its claws madly. It couldn't see us, but it could hear us or something. Picked up a trooper and ripped him apart. And then it killed Macer. Eviscerated him. Sorry, Corporal Snide was then speared by the beast. We were doing everything in our power to kill it, but it wasn't working, and then... Huge blast and my world went dark.
I arrived at the most opportune moment then,
Inquisitor Zhang said.
The wrath of the Inquisition shall fall on this cult with full force. It's a miracle you survived.
It was just dumb luck, Inquisitor. But tell me, is this the cult responsible for the Sanguinalia bombing?
I'm afraid not, Probator. We have no reason to believe that the cult caused this bombing. And I can safely say that the perpetrators of those bombings are still at large.
The Probator hung his head in what seemed like shame.
Don't worry, Probator. After that cult is done with, I will hunt those bombers myself, and I swear upon the holy throne of terror that I will find them and bring them to justice.
The Probator seemed pleased. It had to do for now. He obviously could not be told the real purpose of those bombings. He could not be told about the taint.